Most worn Roosevelt dimes look worthless, but some rare state-and-error dimes in bad condition are claimed to be worth thousands or even millions. In this video, we reveal the hidden coins you should never ignore before spending them. First up, the 1992p Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a common but historically interesting United States 10-cent coin that reflects everyday circulation money from the early 1990s era, and even when heavily worn it still carries numismatic importance for collectors who study grading, circulation damage, and long-term metal wear patterns. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is identified by the P mint mark located on the obverse side near the date, and it belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series that began in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was chosen due to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and also because of his connection to the March of Dimes campaign against polio. The 1992p dime is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it is not silver. Instead, it has an inner core of pure copper surrounded by outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, which gives it durability for mass circulation but also means that over time it can develop a dull appearance, scratches, and wear without any intrinsic metal value increase. When discussing a bad condition example, we are typically referring to coins that have been heavily circulated for many years, possibly passing through thousands of hands, vending machines, wallets, and cash registers, resulting in significant physical degradation. In such condition, Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse side becomes heavily flattened, with facial features like the hair details, eye contours, cheekbone definition, and jawline becoming almost smooth or mushy, especially in grades like good G4 or lower. The inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," may appear partially worn away, with letters fading or merging into the background due to friction. The date, 1992, and the P mint mark usually remain visible even in poor condition, but they may be weak, faint, or partially obscured by scratches or grime. On the reverse side of the coin, which displays a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength, the fine details are often the first to disappear under heavy circulation. The torch flames may look like a flat shape, and the leaf veins on the branches may no longer be visible at all. In severely worn examples, even the central torch outline can appear smooth, and only the general silhouette of the design remains recognizable. Edge wear is also common, and while modern dimes are reeded, grooved edges, heavy use can soften or slightly damage these reeds, making the coin feel smoother than a fresh strike. Environmental damage can further worsen the condition, especially if the coin has been exposed to moisture, salt, dirt, or chemicals over a long time, leading to discoloration such as dark gray toning, brown stains, greenish corrosion spots, or uneven surfaces. Some badly stored coins may also show pitting, where tiny holes form in the surface due to corrosion, permanently damaging the design. Despite all of this, the 1992p dime remains easily identifiable because of its standard size, metallic composition, and preserved core design elements. It is important to understand that this coin is not rare in circulated condition because the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of them in 1992, meaning most surviving examples today are already found in worn states rather than uncirculated mint condition. From a collector's perspective, a badly worn 1992p Roosevelt dime typically has only face value, 10 cents, unless it contains a rare mint error such as a significant strike through, die crack, or off-center strike, which are not common for this date. However, even in poor condition, such coins are still useful in numismatics for educational purposes, especially when learning grading standards, as they demonstrate how continuous circulation affects metal surfaces over decades. They also help collectors understand the difference between circulated grades and mint state grades, showing how sharp design details gradually disappear with use. In historical context, this coin represents everyday American commerce in the early 1990s, a time when cash transactions were still dominant before the widespread adoption of digital payments, so even a worn example carries cultural and economic significance. For beginner collectors, studying a damaged or heavily circulated 1992p dime is often a starting point in learning how to identify mint marks, read coin dates, and recognize wear patterns such as flat high points, loss of luster, and surface smoothing. Ultimately, while a badly conditioned 1992p Roosevelt dime may not hold monetary premium value, it remains a small but meaningful artifact of modern U.S. coinage history, reflecting both the durability of the clad composition and the long-term effects of circulation on everyday currency. Next up, the 1971 Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a circulated United States 10-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the D mint mark on the obverse side near the date, and it is part of the long-running Roosevelt dime series that began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The 1971 dime is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it contains no silver content like earlier pre-1965 dimes, and instead has a copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel alloy designed for durability in everyday circulation. When this coin is found in bad or heavily worn condition, it typically shows significant loss of detail due to decades of use in commerce, vending machines, and general circulation. On the obverse side, Roosevelt's portrait becomes flattened, with the hair, forehead, and facial features losing sharp definition, and in very worn examples the face may appear smooth and featureless except for the basic outline. The inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," may be partially faded or weak, especially on coins that have experienced heavy friction and contact with other coins. The date, 1971, and the D mint mark are usually still visible even in low-grade examples, but they may appear soft or worn depending on the severity of circulation damage. On the reverse side, which features a torch in the center symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch representing peace and strength, the fine details are often heavily reduced in bad condition coins. The torch flames may look flat, and the leaf veins on the branches may be completely smooth or barely visible. In extreme wear cases, only the general shape of the design remains, making the coin appear dull and almost blank except for major outlines. The rim of the coin may also show wear, becoming slightly rounded or smoothed from continuous handling. Since the 1971 dime was produced in very large quantities by the Denver Mint, it is considered a common coin, and most surviving examples are found in circulated condition rather than mint state. In bad condition, this coin generally has no collectible premium and is worth only its face value of 10 cents, unless it contains a rare mint error such as a dramatic off-center strike, die break, or unusual doubling, which are not typical for this date but can occasionally increase interest among collectors. Environmental factors can also worsen its appearance. Exposure to moisture, dirt, chemicals, or improper storage can cause discoloration such as dark toning, staining, or surface corrosion, sometimes creating a rough texture or pitted surface that permanently damages the coin's visual appeal. Despite heavy wear, the 1971 Roosevelt dime remains identifiable due to its standard design elements, consistent size, and copper-nickel metallic appearance, making it a useful example for studying coin grading and circulation wear patterns. For beginners in numismatics, this type of coin is often used to understand grading levels like good G4, very good VG, and fine F, where the progression of wear can be clearly observed through the gradual loss of detail. Historically, The coin represents early 1970s American currency, a time when coins were heavily used in everyday cash transactions before digital payments became common, so even a worn example reflects real economic history. Overall, the 1971 Roosevelt dime in bad condition is not rare or highly valuable in normal circumstances, but it still serves as an important educational piece in understanding U.S. coin production, circulation wear, and the long-lasting design of the Roosevelt dime series. Next up, the 1982p Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a circulated United States 10-cent coin produced at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark on the obverse near the date, and it is part of the modern Roosevelt dime series that has been in continuous production since 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This particular coin is struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it contains no silver and consists of a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper and nickel, which gives it strength for long-term circulation but also means it can show significant wear and surface damage over decades of use. When we refer to the 1982p dime in bad condition, we are describing a coin that has experienced heavy circulation, often for many years, passing through countless transactions, vending machines, wallets, and storage environments, resulting in strong physical deterioration. On the obverse side, Roosevelt's portrait becomes heavily flattened, with high points such as the hair strands, forehead, cheek, and jawline losing sharp definition and becoming smooth or melted in appearance. The inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," may be partially weak, faded, or blended into the background due to continuous friction and contact with other coins. The date, 1982, and the P mint mark are usually still visible because they are recessed into the coin design, but in extremely worn examples they may appear soft, faint, or partially obscured by wear, scratches, or dirt buildup. On the reverse side, which features a torch symbolizing liberty in the center, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength, the fine design details are often severely reduced in bad condition coins. The torch flames may look completely flat, and the leaf veins on the branches are often completely erased, leaving only basic outlines instead of detailed textures. In heavily worn specimens, the reverse design can appear almost smooth or featureless except for the major shapes of the torch and branches. The coin's rim may also be worn down or rounded due to long-term circulation and repeated contact with hard surfaces, giving it a softer and less defined edge compared to a mint state example. Environmental damage is another common factor that worsens appearance in low-grade coins. Exposure to moisture, soil, air pollutants, chemicals, or improper storage conditions can lead to discoloration such as dark gray toning, brown staining, greenish corrosion, or uneven surface texture. In severe cases, corrosion may create pitting, where tiny holes form in the metal surface, permanently damaging the coin's original appearance. Despite this level of wear, the 1982p Roosevelt dime remains identifiable because of its standard size, consistent design layout, and copper-nickel coloration, which are distinctive even in heavily circulated condition. This coin is not considered rare, as the Philadelphia Mint produced it in very large quantities in 1982, meaning most surviving examples are common circulation finds rather than collectible rarities. In bad condition, the coin generally holds only its face value of 10 cents, unless it contains a rare mint error such as a significant die break, off-center strike, or unusual doubling, which could attract collector interest but is not typical for this issue. From a numismatic perspective, a heavily worn 1982p dime is often used as a teaching example for grading standards, typically falling into categories like good G4, very good VG, or fine F, where collectors study how different levels of wear affect the visibility of design elements. It clearly demonstrates how high points of a coin wear down first, while recessed areas last longer, helping beginners understand the fundamentals of coin grading and circulation damage. Historically, this coin represents everyday American currency of the early 1980s, a period when physical coins were widely used in daily transactions before the widespread adoption of electronic payments and digital banking systems. Even though it is not valuable in poor condition, the 1982 P. Roosevelt dime in bad condition still holds educational and historical significance as an example of durable modern coinage and the long-term effects of circulation on mass-produced currency. Next up, the 2017 D. Roosevelt dime in bad condition is a modern United States 10-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the D. Mint mark on the obverse side near the date, and it is part of the ongoing Roosevelt dime series that has been continuously produced since 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The 2017 issue is made from a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has a copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability for circulation but also making it prone to surface wear, scratches, and dulling over time when heavily used. When found in bad or heavily circulated condition, the 2017 D dime typically shows early but noticeable signs of wear, although because it is a relatively recent coin, extreme deterioration is less common compared to older dimes. On the obverse side, Roosevelt's portrait may begin to lose fine detail in areas such as the hair strands, cheekbone, and jawline, but in most worn examples the major design remains identifiable because the coin has not been in circulation for decades. The inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," may show light fading or reduced sharpness, especially on coins that have been in constant use, and the date, 2017, along with the D. Mint mark usually remain very clear due to their modern striking quality and shallow exposure to wear. On the reverse side, which features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength, the design remains relatively intact in most circulated examples, but in bad condition coins the fine lines of the torch flames and leaf veins may start to soften or lose sharpness. Because this coin is modern, even heavily circulated pieces often still retain strong overall design visibility compared to older dimes like those from the 1970s or 1980s. However, coins that have been through extreme handling conditions, such as heavy pocket wear, industrial use, or abrasive environments, may show noticeable smoothing of high points and loss of luster, giving the surface a dull or gray appearance instead of the original mint shine. Edge reading on the dime may become slightly worn or rounded in bad condition examples, though it usually remains visible unless the coin has suffered significant damage. Environmental effects such as exposure to moisture, oils, dirt, or chemicals can also affect the coin, causing discoloration, spotting, or toning that may appear as dark patches or uneven color distribution across the surface. In rare cases of poor storage, corrosion can begin to form, leading to rough texture or small pits in the metal, although this is less common for a 2017 coin due to its relatively short time in circulation. From a collector's perspective, the 2017 D. Roosevelt dime in bad condition is not considered rare or valuable in normal circulated form, as it was produced in very large quantities by the Denver Mint, and most examples are still commonly found in pocket change. In worn condition, it typically holds only face value of 10 cents unless it has a significant mint error such as off-center strike, die crack, or dramatic doubling, which are the only features that might increase collector interest beyond face value. Because of its modern date, this coin is often used in coin collecting education to show early stages of circulation wear rather than advanced aging, making it useful for beginners learning grading terms such as about good AG good G and very good VG, where only slight wear is present. Unlike older Roosevelt dimes, the 2017 D example helps collectors understand how new coins begin to lose sharpness over time but still maintain strong detail due to improved minting technology. Historically, it represents modern U.S. currency in the digital age, where coins are still widely produced but used less heavily in everyday cash transactions compared to earlier decades. Overall, the 2017 D Roosevelt dime in bad condition is not rare or highly valuable, but it remains an important example of modern circulation coinage, showing how even recently minted coins begin to develop wear patterns when exposed to everyday use over time. Please like and subscribe to my channel.